Thank you so much for joining us here on AccuWeather Weekend. I'm meteorologist Damian Lotus. Lots of weather to track, so if you are a fall lover, even if you are a winter lover, you're going to get your wish here in the forecast as we head throughout this weekend. Lots to track, so let's go ahead and start you off with a quick look here at satellite and radar. There are still going to be some early afternoon showers and even some rumbles of thunder to track here across parts of the southeast. There will also be some lingering showers here across parts of the east coast. But as those showers, as those storms start to depart, we are tracking our next storm system working its way from the northern plains to the upper Midwest today, bringing, yes, a chance of snow across the region. But on the backside, get ready for the coldest stretch of weather we have seen so far this season. And as a meteorologist, I will point out, I kind of like this time of year whenever it comes to tracking temperatures, because it's only this time of year where you can really see this contrast from north to south. For today, I'm going to be tracking highs ranging from the teens across the northern plains to the mid-90s there across parts of South Texas. Some parts of Texas and Florida will even be within range of tying record highs here for this afternoon. Now across the northeast, the front hasn't really made its way through, and we're not really tracking the impacts of that clipper just yet. So it'll be a quiet forecast here for today, with temperatures ranging from the 30s and 40s to even the 50s, 60s, and even some 70s across parts of the mid-Atlantic. Pretty nice weather today in Washington, D.C. But across the plains, especially the northern plains, this is where I am tracking the coldest air across the lower 48. We'll see highs today ranging from the teens across northern parts of North Dakota and Minnesota. And we will see some rain-cooled 60s there. Look at 62 with some cloudy skies and rain chances there in St. Louis. And across the west coast, a very quiet and nice forecast here for this weekend. Across the northwest, we'll see temperatures upper 50s for Seattle, low 60s with lots of sunshine today in Portland. And then across the southwest, this is where we're going to see some of the nicest conditions here across the lower 48. Look at Los Angeles, sunny skies, highs in the low 80s, just showing off here for your Saturday afternoon in November. Now across the southern plains, that cold front will be sweeping its way across the region, so temperatures will be in a free fall. But before the cold front sweeps its way in, we'll still see highs today climbing into the 80s for Dallas. And yes, those record-breaking temperatures across parts of South Texas. So across the southern plains and across the southeast, if you have any afternoon plans, any weekend plans, I should say, get them done today, because we will be tracking much colder and much windier conditions here, even stormy conditions across the southeast, heading into your Sunday afternoon. But our top story this afternoon is going to be this taste of December that millions are going to feel as we head throughout this weekend. It's coming behind a storm clipping through the Midwest that's bringing rain and snow. And that snow accumulation will be found around the Great Lakes primarily as we head into early parts of next week. But behind that system, December-like air is going to push its way across the south. A frost and freeze is going to be possible all the way down through the Gulf Coast. AccuWeather real field temperatures will also fall into the teens across this region as well. So for everyone out there finally waiting and wishing for fall-like weather, yeah, you're going to get your forecast and you're going to get your wish here as we head into this afternoon and this weekend. So let's go and track the latest. I'm going to start you off with a look at the snow before we take a look at the cold. So first, focusing on the snow. Here's the overall timeline of when the snow will be moving in. For Saturday, the snow will be working its way from the northern plains into the upper Midwest. As we head into Sunday, the snow will be working its way across the Great Lakes. And then as we head into Monday, you can see that storm system, that clipper, will be working its way into New England. So overall here for your Saturday, this is going to be the overall track that we are tracking, with the highest potential of snowfall here across the plains and primarily the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes. But everybody wants to know, how much snow am I going to see? Well, here's our latest projection and forecast here for Saturday into Sunday night. So for the weekend, most of the totals will be across the Great Lakes. That's where we're going to see the heaviest bands of snowfall developing. But I also want to point out, we are going to see some snowfall there across the mountains in West Virginia heading into early parts of next week as well. Here's the timeline on the snowfall chances on Sunday. That clipper will be working its way across the Great Lakes. So that's going to transition the snow from the Great Lakes into parts of the Northeast, including parts of New England. But on the backside of this, I also wanted to point out this sharply colder air being pulled here from the upper Midwest into the Mid-South. So Memphis, Nashville, Yes, get ready for some colder air here as we head into your Sunday and your Monday. And then as we head into Monday, Tuesday, that clipper will be working its way up to the north, so we will still be seeing some lake effect snow really adding to the snowfall totals here across this region as we head into early parts of Tuesday. But overall, the highest snowfall totals will be in these bands here in the darkest shade of blue. We'll also see some pretty impressive snowfall totals there across the mountains of West Virginia heading in early Tuesday. But once again, everybody wants to know, how much snow am I going to get? Well, here's our latest AccuWeather forecast snowfall totals from Monday into Tuesday. And some pretty impressive snowfall totals will be in the forecast. 3 to 6 inches here in this darkest shade of blue, primarily around the Great Lakes where these heavier bands will line up. We'll also see some pretty impressive snowfall amounts there across parts of the mountains of West Virginia as well. So now we're going from snow to cold. And I know it's interesting to see the first thing I talk about when discussing the cold air being pulled in with record-breaking temperatures for today. But yes, I just want to show the contrast in this temperature whiplash I am tracking between today and tomorrow, because parts of South Texas and Florida will be within range of tying record-high temperatures for today. McAllen, Brownsville, temperatures today in the mid-90s across South Texas. Miami, the number to beat here for today's record, 88 degrees set back in 2019. Our AccuWeather exclusive forecast high for today, right there at 88. So record-breaking temperatures from Texas to Florida for today. But here comes that temperature whiplash I mentioned. This cold front is just now sweeping its way across parts of Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle, and temperatures are going to be in a free fall here as we go forward. As a matter of fact, take a look at these highs over the next 3 days, and almost across the board, you can just see temperatures in a free fall. I mean, take a look at this. Corpus Christi going from the 90s to the 60s. New Orleans going from the 80s to the 50s. Even Jackson, Mississippi going from the 80s to the 40s here as we head throughout Saturday, Sunday, even as we head into parts of Monday. So definitely get ready. If you have been waiting for the crisp fall-like air to finally move in, you are definitely going to get your wish here as we head into early parts of next week. Let's go and take a look now at the Big Three.
Well, we've still got more weather going on. Of course, there's a front leaving the southeastern U.S. and the northeastern U.S. With it some showers. We'll even watch some more thunderstorms as we head through Saturday. That's
right. Number one here on our Big Three will be that chance of shower storms, even severe storms as we head into tomorrow afternoon. This will extend from the mid-Atlantic coast all the way down through the southeast, the Carolinas. Even areas of the Gulf Coast, including Florida, will be included on this risk of severe weather as well.
Watch for damaging winds, potentially some hail associated with that as the colder air clips in behind it.
And you're talking about that colder air. As it's moving in, it's really moving in. We'll see frosty conditions as far south as the I-10 corridor. So yes, everyone's been wanting this fall-like weather to move in, and you're going to get your wish here as we head into early parts of next week.
A strong changeover with ice scrapers going on and all sorts of action out there. Take a look at the dramatic changes in places like Asheville, where we go more than 30-degree difference from Sunday afternoon's highs to Monday afternoon highs.
Not only is that a very impressive temperature drop in the dead of winter, but whenever this is the first real taste of freezing, not necessarily freezing temperatures, but cold temperatures, this is going to be what you call definitely a shock to the system.
Yeah, you'll want to have those winter parkas ready to go for the start of the work week. Let's take you into the tropics, though, because that front, as we follow it southward, does get hung up into the Gulf and the Caribbean. And this time of year, when those kinds of things happen, that's where we watch for tropical development.
Yeah, climatologically speaking, these are the areas we primarily watch for development in November. And because of that front getting its way down through the southern Caribbean, this is where we're primarily going to be watching for development heading into next weekend. So Nicaragua, we'll be watching Costa Rica, all these areas, Panama even, will be watching that little coastal zone for potential development heading into next weekend.
It is low risk at this time, so hopefully some good news for those still recovering from Hurricane Melissa, obviously there in Jamaica, as you saw.
So the last thing we're tracking, once again, we're not forgetting about the West Coast. It's just overall not really much to talk about. It's going to be a nice, dry and quiet weekend here across the West.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday looking wonderful. In fact, we can keep that rolling into Monday and Tuesday as well due to this ridge setting up and establishing the warm weather.
But all things must come to an end because we're going to be tracking a big change in the forecast heading into late next week and next weekend. This big dip in the jet stream bringing cooler air, but also bringing rain. And Melissa, this rain is going to extend as far south as the southern border. So San Diego up the 5 into Los Angeles will be getting some much needed rainfall here during the wet season.
Yeah, we're still working on timing of it as the storm kind of develops in the Pacific and then slides its way in. But it really jumpstart the wet season pretty early here across the Golden State, which is some welcome news, especially after last winter's fire season.
Yeah, so once again across the west, just beautiful weather for today. Seattle 58, Portland 62, Los Angeles once again showing off sunny skies, highs in November in the low 80s.
Again, a beautiful setup for the weekend and the upcoming days before that next storm system works its way in. And that's going to wrap our Big Three.
And here's an updated look at your travel map here as we head into this afternoon. And weather-related delays will be possible across the plains because of the snow chances, but we'll also be watching out for some delays possible here across the southeast and Florida because of some rain developing, even some rumbles of thunder early this afternoon, but we should clear out as we head into this evening. Stay right here with AccuWeather Weekend. We'll have more updates for you coming up right after this.